Okay, friends. This is, I'll try to keep this short. I've said in the past that sharpening is a rabbit hole that is hard to explain because it's an accumulated experience that it takes a lot of trial and error. And these are just concepts. These are what you're gonna see here is something that has evolved over since 1990. So a long time of screwing up and then really reading something and talking to people, and it's handy to have a really nice store like Woodcraft or Rockler Woodworking. If you don't, you can go online. There's also Lee Valley online that sells some of the stuff I'm talking about, and they have a whole section on sharpening. The box stores like Home Depot and Lowe's and Menards and all that stuff, they are more than likely not going to carry the things that you need to get your chisels and plane irons where you're going to want them. And as I've said before, sharp isn't necessarily, sharp is of course shaving your arm and cutting a piece of paper, but what it comes down to with this kind of sharp is performance and how these cut the wood, and is it helping you or hurting you? Are you worried about your workpiece and what you're doing? Are you, and the same goes even, I'll bring axe handles into this a little bit. That's why I shy away. I still use my spoke shaves and my draw knives and all of that stuff, but I've gravitated towards files and rasps and stuff just because of the confidence. You know how much material you're taking off, and it's more automatic with your hands and your brain and the workpiece. You're not wasting time and energy worrying about, am I gonna have grain tear out or whatnot. So sharpening is to build that confidence and to just help you with your work. These hand tools are still relevant today. An electric power tool isn't gonna get everything done. And a lot of guys don't use hand tools. I've seen journeyman carpenter not using a chisel in the right direction. So believe me, it happens. The same thing with pneumatic nailers and whatnot. You know, can't hardly drive a nail, which is sad. So anyway, let me just run through what I've got laid out here with the chisels. And conceptually, what I think is going to help you right off the bat is, here's different types of chisels. These I call my bench chisels. These are sort of somewhere in between. These are some Stanleys. I think Marples makes these now, but these, I don't know if they're still made in England, but these are. These are Stanleys made in the USA. These are construction chisels. These are the older style. These are the newer style. And yes, we have a set of Harbor Freight chisels. I also have my junker chisels that rarely get sharpened. I use them for scraping caulk and all kinds of stuff. Just because this angle, this is a really, you know, whether it's on a plane iron or a draw knife, or the geometry of this works to some degree. These, I was reshaping the edge so you can see, let's see if you can see it. Yeah, there, whoops. Yeah, I have had to, because it looked like it was chewed up like that, worse than that. And so I have to reshape and resquare the edge, and then I'll sharpen it from there. So anyway, just kind of an overview of what happens to these chisels. Now, these chisels, I mean, never leave the shop. Maybe once in a blue moon, these would go out, but it would have to be a very special project where a bench chisel or a shop chisel would be needed. The steel in these is excellent, and they stay mirror sharp. I mean, these will cut you bad. This is a gouge. But these never leave. They go from there to the bench and back to there. And they're never rattling around with a bunch of tools, theoretically. These are somewhere in between. These are not construction chisels. They need to be struck with a mallet, not a hammer. Whereas you can see the, I guess, the steel pad on these construction chisels is meant to be hit with a hammer. Let's get into, we're already at 7 minutes, so this could take a little while. I will try to condense this a little bit. What I suggest everyone get, the 3 things that I suggest everyone get, and these 2 come together, should come together. And then this is just a general, I think when I did axe geometry, I used that. That is definitely a relevant tool as well, because it allows you to check where you're at. Now, the angle that you put on these, something like 20 degrees-ish, or maybe over. Let's see, like this. Anyway, let's get back to these. These are made by a company called Veritas, and they're not exactly cheap, but I really feel like these are the best. And these are the old school. They have another style, which I'm not familiar with, and this is just what I've been using for years and years. General makes a cheap plastic one, which I started out with. There's other ones that are cheaper. The thing I like about this, though, is this is the angle guide. You can check your angle or try to figure out what your angle is, but this is mainly for checking your angle. And it has 15, 20, it's got 5 angles that you can check to make sure you're dead on and adjust accordingly. So I like this. The questions come up, should we try it freehand? I don't do it freehand unless it's a gouge or a draw knife or this guide simplifies things so much. And yes, I have a Tormek, I have a slow speed grinder, I have a buffer. I've spent hundreds of dollars on sharpening stuff. The 2x72 sander, on and on and on and on. Tons of belts going from 36 grit to 4,000. So it doesn't mean I'm an expert or anything. It just means I've spent a lot of money on sharpening. Do you need to spend a lot of money on sharpening? No. You do need to spend some money. And this would be, you could wait on that, but that's not very expensive. I think this is around 75 bucks. You might be able to get it on eBay for cheaper used. I don't know. But that is going to give you consistency right off the bat. And basically, you put your iron in there and you get your angle that you want, and then you transfer it either to water stones, and my recommendation, diamond stones. Diamond stones aren't as expensive as they used to be. They're economical, and for what you get, the performance and the speed at which you get it, and the maintenance, because the water stones take a lot of maintenance, and you can see this coarse diamond stone over here, which is like 140 grit. What is that? Yeah. You have to keep these flat. As you use them, they get a dip in the middle, so you have to flatten them, and that's what this is for. I started out. These two were my first stones. This is a Norton Stone. What did I write on there? I've got 800 and 1200, and then 5,000 for polishing and honing. Either way, I would recommend taking an old belt, or you can buy one of these guys. You can glue with your 3M Super 77 stick glue. Take a board, glue an old belt to this, and you can see this leather here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you've got the inside of the belt, and then you got the smooth side of the belt. And then the microfine honing compound to get rid of the burr. Water stones, perfectly great. It's best to keep them in a water bath, which is also maintenance. To just dump these and start using these, just put a little water on top. You're not going to get the same kind of cutting action that you will. These are meant to be in a water bath and stay soaked, and that's just how they operate. The diamond stones, however, are awesome. Okay, here we go. We're set up. Now, if I wanted to find out what my degrees was on the protractor, that's really simple. I knew this was at 25 degrees, but just for the sake of demonstration purposes, here's how you set this guy up. And you're gonna have this set up to where this little, this isn't centered up here. There's more hanging over on this side. So that's the direction that you're going to put that in there. And if you didn't have a protractor, basically what you do is you get this on here to where, and you have to situate it this way, and you have to move this up and back to where you don't see daylight where the bevel's hitting the metal. And you need to be flat pretty much all the way around, and you'll have to just get used to jockeying this thing around. Now, if I didn't know what my angle was, I'd have to unscrew that and rotate that, but we see no daylight in there, so we know that it's 25 degrees and we're in good shape. Now that we know we have this, and let's just say for the sake of utility, that you decided you were going to go with the diamonds, which, by the way, would be an excellent choice. Did I say that? And some people prefer carborundum and oil. I mean, it's just a personal preference. And it's also one of those things where you can look at all these videos on YouTube, you can do all this stuff, but it really comes down to what works for you and what you eliminate. A lot of times when I'm with a process, I will just do stuff and eliminate things until things start, the things start going right, and then I'm like, aha, I'm going to use that and that and that and that. So anyway, we're fairly shaped. And so basically, we're just going to take, our 300, and we're not going to go crazy. We're not going to press down a lot, but this initial little deal is and then we're going to take it up and we're going to look at it. And you can see we're hitting back. Let me get it out of this light. It's important to see where you're hitting at the first. Don't go gonzo until you know how you're going, because you can be taking too much material off of the heel of this, the heel being part of the bevel that's closest to me, and the toe, there we go. So now you can see we're taking some off of the heel immediately. Now the cool thing is that's even. We're also taking some off of the toe on the left side, just a scooch. So now we're going to determine if that's an uneven pressure that I'm placing on this. We're going to do a little bit more. Let's see, where are we at? You know, I think I'm okay with that. This is something you just have to gauge for yourself. We know that we're flat down on there, mostly. This is telling us that we are a little bit heel heavy. We could take it back to the straight, or the that and tilt it up a little bit, but you know, you can do that forever. You can tilt it one way and be out, and tilt it another way and be out the way that you wanted to go, and so forth. So I think we're going to go with this for just a little while, and we're just going to, now this is definitely a thing you can't be in a hurry with. If it's touch up, that's a little different. But if you've got a project coming up and you're sharpening your chisels, it's best to take your time a little bit. Now the diamonds are going to speed this up, no question at all. Now I think I can live with that, because I'm really not, if you look at we're taking off so little that I think over time, maybe 3-5 minutes, that that part right here is gonna transfer out to the toe. So we're gonna go with that, and let me come back in. Now here's the technique that I like to use. I use both fingers, and I take let's see if that's going. Yeah, I take my index fingers, and I'm not applying a ton of pressure. I'm just using those fingers to keep it even. And basically, I am just trying to get that knocked down. Now you can see, I don't know, can you see that? Yeah. So let's see, we're hitting over here, and you're just gonna have to feel this out, and maybe it needs to go a titch that way. Let's see where we're going. I just took the handle and I just kicked it a T9 bit. Now, see how we're already getting to the toe. That means that is probably a little bit high. So I think we're going to keep going. Now, the cool thing about this, now you can put a block here to keep it from scooching forward, but I maintain if you're scooching forward with this thing, with a diamond stone, you're pressing too hard. How do I want to say this? I guess just watch what you're doing, and if something looks like it's not working, don't keep doing it. Be open that you might have to make an adjustment. Now I think we're going really good here. Let's see if I can get this in here. Yeah. Now that's going to take a little while. But Rome wasn't built in a day, and if you want sharp, you have to spend some time on it. A lot of guys will do part of the chisel. I just don't do part of the chisel, because the thing about this jig that's so cool is once you get this where you want it, I can already feel some of the diamonds in the center have worn on this. I've had this for a couple of years now. And basically, if you're not getting that cutting action, it's time for a new stone. So that will probably take maybe 10 more minutes or less, maybe 5, just depends. Now you are making a curl. So every so often, actually right now you're not making a curl because we're not out on the toe yet. But let's say I am to the end. I don't go like this. I hold it like that and I come down like this, and you can remove that curl just like that. And if I'm in a hurry, I don't even bother stropping. It just depends. Basically what I do is grab a scrap piece of wood and see if she's cutting, and then if it's cutting satisfactory for the job, I'm out of here. Sometimes I don't have time to sit here and dote over these things. So basically, when you get out to the toe on this, then you change grits. Now, I won't go from 300 or whatever it was. What is it? Yeah, I won't go from 300 to 1200. I'll go to my medium grit, and you'll be able to see the scratches in it change. They'll get finer. Then you go to your 1200. And some people do use oil with these. I haven't found it necessary. It's probably why my stone's wearing out. The more expensive one obviously hasn't worn out. I've had that a very long time. So then once you get to the 1200 and get past the 1200, don't forget to knock your burr off, and then you can strop it. And so that's basically it. The concept is the same for your planes. So I think this is a good place to start. This is going to be a very long video, and I intended it not to be. But I think this is, we'll base another video on the questions that pop up in the comments. But again, let's see. This is super sharp, and this is end grain of hard maple, and I'm pairing end grain effortlessly with my chisel. Now that just varies from job to job. If I'm making a piece of furniture, I'm definitely going to these guys. If I'm working with 2x4s and primed poplar and whatnot, probably not going to use my cabinet chisels, probably going to use these or these. So anyway, I hope that is helpful. I got to get making some cabinet doors. And like I said, this is going to carry you into sharpening your draw knives. Again, it is finding the combination of stuff that is going to work for you. And on some tools you want to take your time and dote on it. And if you're taking them to the job, you want them sharp, you want them pairing, and you want them safe, because we all know a sharp tool is a safe tool. But you don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Like if I come to the shop at 7 o'clock in the morning, yeah, right. And to sharpen chisels before I head to the job, and I've got 6 chisels to touch up, I want to get out of here. I don't want to be here till 10 o'clock sharpening stuff. So anyway, you get what I mean. Any questions, leave them in the comments. And if there's something that you think I left out, let's get on it, let's address it, and we'll go from there. So yeah, everybody have an awesome day, an awesome week, and let's rock it. Let's keep going. It's super cold here, and I love you all. Thanks a lot for checking in and leaving a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you just bumped into this channel, give me a chance. There's lots coming, lots of different things coming, woodworking on lots of different things, furniture, cabinets, axe handles, there's a lot to do. So anyway, take care, and I'll see you on the next video.